Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today I have for you a Mighty game review featuring World War Z. Now, my review is going to be different from a lot of the other reviews out there that I've actually physically seen of this game, um, mostly because a lot of people compared it to Left 4 Dead. Honestly, I've probably only ever played about an hour of Left 4 Dead, and that was years ago when it was first released back in 2008 ish. So I honestly don't remember enough about the game or have played enough of the game to really make a good comparison between the two games. But let's dive on in here and talk a bit about World War Z. It was developed by Saber Interactive and the publisher is Mad Dog Games. Honestly, I've never really heard of either company. Um, and it runs on the Swarm engine. The game was released on Windows PC, which is what the gameplay is you're seeing here, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on April 16th, 2019. Now, they are still adding new stuff to this game, so there's a little bit of snippet right there that my reviews of the current situation of the game. It is a third-person shooter, loosely based on the 2006 book and set in the same universe as the 2013 film of the same name. The game campaign, which I'm primarily going to focus on for my review since that's what I've focused on the most and what I enjoy the most about the game, is set in 4 locations. You have Chapter 1, which is New York, and that has four stages to it. You have Jerusalem, which has 3 stages to it, Moscow, which currently has 4 stages to it, and Tokyo, which has 3 stages to it. I don't know if they plan on expanding on this in the future. Each chapter has 4 different characters that you can play. You pick a character, you pick a class, you jump into a game. There is an unlockable background video for each character, and I'll touch base with that a little bit more later in the video. There is also, in the realm of PvE, a horde mode and a challenge mode. I really haven't messed with those too god awfully much. So I can't really say too god awfully much about those modes. There is also PvP. Once again, haven't really touched too much with the PvP. I've only tried it out a little bit, and I can't really go into details because I honestly don't fully have the grasp of the PvP yet. In the PvE mode, though, for the campaign, as well as the challenge mode and the horde mode, it features 6 character classes. You have the Gunslinger, which is a ranged combat specialist, a Hellraiser, which is a demolitions expert, Medic, which is obviously a team medic, Fixer, which is kind of more like a jack of all trades, the Slasher, which is for a melee combat specialist, and the Exterminator, which is more or less like a pyromaniac. There's also 6 different types of special zombies. You have your regular zombies, obviously. You fight those quite a bit. That will be your most common enemy. But you also have the Bomber, or what I call the Bomber. He's kind of wearing like PMC military type gear, and usually he has an explosive vest on him. Basically, he's a suicide bomber. There's advantages and disadvantages to that. He has an AoE type of attack, which can be used as an advantage because if you can shoot the explosive on the vest, it will explode and take out zombies nearby him. And hopefully you're far enough away not to take damage, or your team as well. There's the Infected, which has a range attack. They're also a tougher zombie, and their range attack, they'll spit on you. But when they attack with a melee attack, you will get infected and have to disinfect the wound. If you don't disinfect the wound soon enough, you yourself will turn into a zombie. Very nice effect, honestly. You have the Bull, which actually you see here. It's the big zombie wearing the riot gear, and that's the idea. They're wearing ballistic riot armor, so they're tougher to take out. And really the only way to take them out is shoot the face shield. You could also do melee attacks in the back, and I've also found shooting them in the back actually works. But they're really hard to take down, and they basically charge at you. You have the Lurker, which kind of lurks around corners. Actually, I just got jumped by a lurker there, and luckily my team was on top of taking them out. And basically, they will lunge at you from great distances and pin you down until a teammate comes and gets the lurker off of you. You also have the gas bag, which is a zombie that wears a hazmat type suit. And if you kill them with a headshot, the gas is kind of contained. It's this weird thing. But if you just kill them outright, they will release an AoE poison cloud that also blinds. So that's actually quite interesting. You also have the Screamer as well, which what the Screamer does is it screams really loud and it attracts more zombies to come attack you. But I also found they're one of the easiest ones to kill. So there's some generalizations of World War Z. I don't want to really dive in too deep here because I don't want to go overly long with the video. But what I'm going to talk about now is what I liked about the game. What is kind of shoots in the middle doesn't really bother me, but they could have improved on it. And then the negatives I feel about the game. Generally, I like the graphics of the game. I don't think they're horrible. I don't think they're great either. It's kind of like, yeah, they're good enough. The sounds I actually really like. The suppressed weaponry does sound like suppressed weaponry. The machine guns sound like machine guns, etc., etc. All the different guns have different sounds, and there's plenty of different guns, considering each tier has various different guns. Plus, you also have all the different various heavy weapons, including chainsaws, which I kind of found that amusing in itself when I first found a chainsaw. And there's also a flamethrower as a weapon. So there's a lot of different weapons to play with in the game. And that's actually one thing I like as well, is that there's plenty of different weapon options and a lot of room for you to play with different types of weapons. I actually rather enjoy the class system. However, there's also a downside to the class system, which once again I'll talk about a little bit. But I like how the class system works out. I like how you can get perks, you can unlock your skills. You don't have to purchase every skill in a perk group. You can purchase the 3 you want and run with those 3 and then save your points until you get to the next perk group, and there's 3 perk groups for each class. Every 10 levels a new perk tree, part of the perk tree, opens up for each class. The next thing is, honestly, this is not something I usually rate, but mindless fun. Yes, there's objectives to do. Defend this area, take this survivor to here, protect the survivor while you're moving. I know one of the missions you have to try and collect parts to get a car working. So there's different various objectives in the game, but generally speaking, they make it mindless. You don't actually really have to think about it. You just do it. I found it all very simple. And generally speaking, it was just absolute mindless fun. Atmosphere, love the atmosphere. It looks like and feels like a zombie apocalypse. You have the failed roadblocks that really the best they do is slow zombies down. You have the different types of locations as well. And it's one thing I pointed out, and actually one of my friends pointed out who plays with me, that the game actually has Jerusalem. That's not something you see in a lot of games in general, or even in a whole lot of movies. You don't really see much of Israel. And I know Israel was a kind of a center point of World War Z, the movie. So it was nice to kind of see that brought back into the game as well. They are still adding content. I don't know how much more content they plan on adding in the near future. Personally, I hope they add some more stages, some new chapters, things of that nature. And generally speaking, the game is a lot of fun with friends. It's not so much fun with bots, and I'm going to dive into that here in a bit as well. But very good. It's a very good game to play with friends and just have a downright good time. This is the neutral parts. The story is not really well built in the game. Now, I suspect there's kind of two parts to that, and this is why I consider it as neutral. There is a World War Z movie. There's World War Z books. So there's plenty of content out there already for World War Z that establishes the universe. So it does, while the game does build a bit more on the whole World War Z universe, there's still a lot out there that you can get outside of the game as well. And I honestly feel the class names could be better. I mean, without actually reading the class descriptions, except for like Gunslinger, Medic, and Slasher, I didn't really know what the Hellraiser was, what the Fixer was, and what the Exterminator was without reading the description. Honestly, it's like, okay, when you read the description, the Exterminator is a pyromaniac. They call it a pyromaniac just to simplify things, or the Hellraiser. Call it a demolition specialist just to simplify things a bit more. That's just my personal opinion. Now the negatives I found in the game. Obviously, it's an online game. It's mostly online. You're playing online with friends, etc., etc. I have noticed some minor server issues, desync issues, and lag. And while I personally haven't been disconnected, friends of mine has been disconnected from games. And I'm not sure if there's any way that they can rejoin. I haven't seen a way they can rejoin except for get through the mission and then pick them back up afterwards. There might be a way to get them to rejoin. I'm just not aware of it at this time. I do apologize if there is. Some glitches even after almost a year of the game being out at this point. I've seen froze zombie glitch models where the zombie spawns in and they're just kind of standing there looking like a tree and they're not doing anything. And they just kind of hang out there for, 30 seconds, a minute before they do something. Now, obviously, it's a free zombie kill if I'm on top of that fast enough, but it is kind of one of those things that it's kind of disappointing to see something like that. And that's probably more or less desync, if anything else. And I have found a weird gun glitch. This has to particularly do with Tokyo. I'm going to explain the whole thing, and maybe some of you have ran into it, maybe some of you haven't. I was using the classic battle rifle, which is the FNFAL, and actually one of my bot teammates was also using the classic battle rifle as well. And when we both fire our rifles, there was a sound glitch where sometimes my rifle would give off sound when shooting, and sometimes it would not give off sound when shooting. And that was the same way with my teammate, where sometimes my teammate's rifle would give off sound or it would not give off sound. It was like alternating sounds between the two rifles. I'm not sure why that is. It's the weirdest thing I've actually ever ran into in a video game. I wouldn't say that was overly disappointing, but it was just kind of like a weird thing. I've just never ran into that before, and I didn't really know how to honestly take it. I personally feel that the game needs more episodes. This is a game that you can literally play through the whole campaign in a few hours if you don't have to reset missions and things like that. Each stage takes roughly about 20 minutes to get through if you run through it. However, that being said, if you fail, you have to rerun the whole stage. Now, the other interesting thing is you can actually pick what episodes or chapters, and then what stages you want to play on. Maybe it's because I played through all of them. I didn't try to skip through them. I just played the way I wanted to play, which was straight through, so I could get the story and everything of the game. Last thing, and this one's the real killer for me, is friendly AI really sucks, especially when you're playing with yourself or if you're playing with just a single friend. Basically, the bots really don't do much except for add on additional guns, and they will take things like the lurkers off of you, but otherwise they don't necessarily play the objective situation. There's a situation with the train where you have to protect the train, but you also have to prevent from being swarmed, and they kind of don't micromanage or break down to the point where maybe one or two of them will try to protect the train and one of them will try to kill zombies that's trying to swarm the group. Also, that being said as well, the other thing is when you're playing with two people in particular, I noticed the two bots will pick a player and group to that player. Now they'll alternate, but the problem is sometimes you may have to run off to grab an objective. So you get jumped by a lurker or a bull, any of those zombies that you can't easily get off of you, and there's no one around to save your butt because they decided to both the bots decided to glue themselves to the other player. And it's actually gotten me killed a few times, so it's definitely a nuisance, and I wish they would, or hope that maybe soon or later they will improve on that. Now, currently for the PC version of the game, which is what I'm going to focus on here, the game is available on Epic Game Store for $34.99. Is it worth it? Well, honestly, that's really up to you. If you're looking for a game that's mindless fun that you can play with your friends, I would say it is worth it. If you're uncertain about the game, maybe wait until, I don't know, you could catch a demo of it, or maybe Epic Games gives it away for free again, or wait till it's on sale. The game is a lot of fun, like I said, a lot of fun with friends. It's not bad. I would even say it's actually worth the $35, but that's if you have a lot of friends who already own the game that you're going to play with. If you're going to play the game pretty much mostly by yourself, I would recommend grabbing it when it's on sale. Now I'm going to cover one DLC, and that's the military bundle. I'm going to discuss the military bundle. It comes with an HK416, an AK103, an MP7A2, and a hammer tool. Now, when I purchased the DLC, I thought maybe it was just like weapon camos, like skins or something like that. It's not skins, it's actually those weapons with all the upgrades, including the silencers. It's a very good bundle, honestly, and I do actually recommend that if you play a lot of World War Z, you actually grab the military bundle, which is, like I said, the weapons. And it comes with a very powerful melee tool, is what the hammer tool is. It's kind of like the cross between a sledgehammer and a Halligan bar, and that is $6.99. But anyway, folks, that is going to be the end of my review for World War Z. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again for the next video.